Hello, and welcome to episode 140 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. Going to be, hacking on some Firefoxy stuff today. It's going to be a little, we're going to be down and dirty inside a Lynx environment. Going to be trying to figure out how to build the Perf tool, or at least get a copy of the Perf tool running in an older version of Ubuntu. We'll see how that goes. No promises. Let me share my screen, and I'll get you up to speed. Okay. So this is the agenda. Today is May 23rd, 2018. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I kind of know what I want to do today, but it might go horribly wrong. Things might fall apart. The green screen behind me might fall down and I'll have to pick it up. Special shout out, by the way, to Jay Lim, my intern who might be watching this. We had discussed what to do when things go wrong, and I'm just calling it out. Things might go wrong, and that's okay. I'm making it okay. So, we'll do our best. We'll just try and muddle through. But I'm trying to capture software development in the raw. You're going to watch me try and figure stuff out, and I might screw up. I might get it wrong. I might not get the answers. We'll see. This agenda that we're looking at is actually something that you have access to. If you are watching this on Air Mozilla, scroll down to the additional links section. That's the old Air Mozilla. If you're watching this on the new Air Mozilla, I realize now that I failed to put the updated links on the new Air Mozilla, so let me do that real quick now, off screen. And if you're watching this on the, if you're watching this on YouTube, check the video description. And if you're watching this on Twitch, I'm about to drop the link to the agenda in the Twitch chat. 1 second, let me just copy the link, copy the URL, and let me just drop that into the Twitch chat right now. There it is. 1 second while I get these links copied over into the never mind. I'll do this later. This is going to take too long, so never mind. The other thing to let you know is that there is an episode guide. So we've had an episode guide for a number of episodes. Just the other day, one of my beloved viewers updated the episode guide so that it includes everything up until, let's see, what do we have until? I actually don't think the links went in, but the actual episodes went in. Episodes all the way to 139, so just up until last week. That's great. Let's take this opportunity actually now to update the README to include the new episodes. 136 all the way to 139. Boop, boop, boop. 36, 37, 38, 39. 37, 37, 38, 39. So we're gonna add 137 through 139 links. And we'll just create that immediately. And then if we go back to the episode guide index, we can see that manifest immediately, hopefully. One of these is the episode guide, right? And I'll just go here. My computer is starting to run like a pig. I hope it's not OBS. We'll see. But let's see. Come on, GitHub. Update. There we go. 36, 37, 38, 39. So we've got episodes with things like the links to the videos, the links to the agenda, and then some of the topics I cover, the bugs I was looking at. And you should feel free, if you have your own notes or corrections or things that you want to include that you think might be interesting for other viewers, why don't you send me a pull request to the episode guide. The episode guide is completely viewer driven, so if it's stuff that you think you'd find useful, go ahead and send it to me. Here are instructions in the agenda on how to send pull requests to the repo. If you're not sure what a pull request is or how that even works, you can follow this guide here that's in the agenda for creating a pull request. And at least one person found that useful, so check it out. Also, I'll do a quick shout out. If you want to help me transcribe some of the previous episodes, I'm using Mozilla Deep Speech to do auto transcriptions of the series. I'm a little bit behind. I haven't been transcribing the past month or so's episodes. That's okay. But if you create a free account at amara.org, you can find links to all the videos that currently have auto transcriptions that need correction. All the ones that are listed as done under auto transcribe could really use your help. So if you create your account and then follow these links, you can then help create corrections for the auto transcriptions, and people who are hard of hearing or want to be able to read as they go along, or maybe even something like a search engine that we might write to look through all of the stuff that I say in these episodes. These sorts of projects and these sorts of people would be very grateful, I would imagine. So there you go. Feel no obligation, but if you're looking for something to do, correcting those auto transcriptions would be a great help. So what are we doing? First of all, can you hear me? Yes. Am I recording? Yes. How's my CPU usage? It's not bad. OBS was like really hogging my CPU for a little bit. Now it's gone back down. That's nice. I wanted to also mention that there's no episode next week. I'm traveling next week, so there will be no episode, and but I'll be back the week after. So I did want to give one update before we dive into Linux land, and that is this thing called the LRU Cache, which we reviewed last week. Guess what? It landed yesterday, May 22nd, 2018. It's now enabled in the nightly channel, so if you have a nightly version of the browser, then you are making use of the LRU cache, and you should hopefully be seeing faster tab switches. We've got our graph here of the async tab switch spinners, and I've got the little marker here for when the LRU cache was enabled. Now, before you get all excited about the great big drop here at the very end of the graph, these sorts of drops always happen at the end of the graph, and that's because data trickles in rather slowly. So let's not get excited just yet. As the days progress, I'm being told something. So there are a couple questions here. Jens10 wants to know, what's the concrete bug you want to resolve? I'll get to that in a second. And MC Iyer goes, the chat on YouTube is disabled on purpose? And I went, yes. So the chat on YouTube is disabled on purpose, and that's because I only want to go to one place to view chat traffic. And so I'm going to IRC for now because I'm able to connect IRC to Twitch as well. So if you want to communicate with me, the best way is to use IRC and try the live hacking chat room, which some people have been able to find, thankfully. And if you're curious about how to get in touch, check the agenda. There's actually a link down here where it says chat. There's a link to the like a web-based IRC chat room right here. If you click on this link, you'll be sent to a web client that you can use to chat from your browser, and I'll see your messages. Although I tend not to see your messages unless you say my name. I'm M. Conley Pipe Live Hacking. So if you say that, then I will notice. And there you go. Let's see. Where are we here? So, Jens10 asks a very good question. What's the concrete bug I want to resolve today? So now that I'm done talking about the LRU cache, this is the bug I want to resolve. So we were looking at this last week and the week before. We've got this really weird situation where we have a performance test that runs every time we push to our continuous integration, and the performance test measures the time it takes to open a tab and start a content process for that tab. And we stop the stopwatch. We start the stopwatch when we open the tab, and we stop the stopwatch when that tab reports that it's ready to process requests to load web content. So it's basically measuring the time to start up the content process, run all of its initialization scripts, and be ready to like load web pages. So a noble thing to measure. And one of the things that we did recently was we got rid of some code. We got rid of what's called the Scrollbar XML Binding. Scrollbar XBL Binding. It's, without going into too much detail, we're changing how Firefox and Gecko declare various pieces of UI. We use this ancient technology called Zool and XBL. We're starting to get rid of both. And one of the things that we got rid of was the XBL binding for the scroll bars, but what we found is that as soon as we got rid of that binding, we regressed our content process start time. But it doesn't seem like it's related at all to the actual scroll bar binding. It seems to be related to parsing XML, just in general, because as soon as we put the an empty binding in, if we put in an empty binding to test, and the regression went away. So that's what's currently in the tree. In Nightly right now, instead of a scroll bar binding, there's an empty binding, because for some reason, just on Linux, getting rid of that binding, that empty binding, which does nothing, it just exists, causes a CP startup regression, a significant one. Like it's not huge, but it is significant, within like 10 milliseconds startup regression. So we were looking at Gecko profiles, and unfortunately, nothing really jumped out. Nothing. We were able to get profiles from the machines. That's the other thing, is that none of my like Ubuntu VMs, my Linux box under my desk, none of these things I can't reproduce the issue on any of these local machines, which is unfortunate. We can only reproduce it on our Talos testing hardware, which is not here. It's somewhere in California, I think, or in Georgia. I don't know. It's somewhere in the United States. And so I've been given access to one of these machines, remote access, root access, which is nice. And we were able to get some performance profiles out of it, but nothing really jumped out, which makes me think like we could detect that the regression was occurring. It was taking longer to get to the point where we stopped the stopwatch, but it just looked like everything was slowing down. It didn't look like one thing in particular was jumping out as the culprit. So the next thing I want to try is to use this tool called Perf. Perf is a Linux tool that you may or may not be familiar with. Here's the wiki page, but basically it allows you to do like deep profiling, like at the kernel level of what a program is doing, like record it and then examine it. So I'm hoping that if we can look at that deep a level, something will jump out. Like maybe we're tweaking something in GTK just the right way, or maybe we're lining up memory, we're causing more allocations to occur, or we're not page faulting, I know that much. Or I don't think we're page faulting, because I took some measurements on the machine and I didn't see an increase in page faulting when we got rid of the binding. But we'll see. So the first step is to see if we can get perf onto this machine. So in order to do that, I have to sign onto the machine. You get to watch me connect to the VPN. I'm actually not going to do that on screen, because I don't want you to see all of my authentication stuff that I have to go through. It is very elaborate. It requires multiple devices. Really quite extensive, and just one second, and then that, and now this. Okay, so we're going to connect to the VPN. Hopefully this will not cause the stream to drop. Doesn't look like it. That's good. And so now we should be able to connect to the machine. I think I aliased the IP, so let me, Talos Loner is what I called it. So if I can SSH into, here, let me pump up the font so you can see what I'm doing. Boop, 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 boop. And then bring up the bottom so you can see what I'm doing down here. There we go. Clear. So SSH client build Talos Loner. Yes, let's connect. Come on. There we go. And then here is the I've got like a Biobu machine, or like a screen instance running, which is nice. And I've got all of the commands more or less stored in my Evernote on how to run the Talos tests on this machine. But one thing that we don't have is perf, and we need to get perf installed. And here's the problem, is that perf is part of, like, my understanding is that it's something that usually comes from the package repository. If you install Linux tools, this version, and this version maps to the particular version of the kernel that I have, then I can get perf. But, and let me get myself some super user privileges. If I try and install that package, I guess I don't need sudo. apt-get install Lynx tools 3.0. That it can't find it. Cannot find it, and I don't know what the dealio is. Maybe, because what would be ideal is if I could just install it from the package repository. The worst case scenario is I have to build it myself. I don't want to have to do that. That sounds like it's going to take a long time, and that there are probably like, I could easily screw it up. So I want to see if there's a way that I can install a pre-built binary. So let's see if we can get a search going. I think apt allows me to search. Let's see here. I think I can scroll up here. Update, install, source. There's a way to search, right? apt-get help grep search. Nope. Search. Oh, all right. Huh. How about like apt, how about we Google for it? apt-get search. Just like apt cache search for command line search. Use apt cache search. apt cache search. Okay, and then I'm gonna do apt cache. I've got some suggestions coming in. Try apt cache or just apt. All right, well, I'm going to try apt cache, and we're going to look for Lynx tools. Whoops, forgot the search. Jens10 said, too slow. Yeah, I'm getting some help from people in IRC. This is great, because I need help, and this is good. So that's great. We've got versions 3.2.0, and then all these different versions, but I've got, my kernel version is -76, and I don't see that listed, which blows. So 3.2.0.76 is not listed. It's not available. So let's see if we can find where it might be. First of all, this is the kernel version, I believe. So I don't have it wrong. 3.2.0.76. Let's see if we can find where 3.2.0.76 tools are. Lynx tools. And like, if any of you out there, lovely people on the internet, have some tips for me, wow, there's someone in Twitch who's just talking about duck hunting. Amazing. So this is interesting. 3.2.0.76 Lynx package. What is this? This is this kernel package something. What is this? This is the kernel update, not the actual like tools, but the kernel, I believe. And does it link to the? Here we go. No, this is what I want. Not published. Come on. Why weren't they published? Can I request them? Lynx tools. You can see I've already been like searching around. I want like this exact phrase. Don't do your. Okay, this isn't precise updates. I wonder if I need to add like a different part of like the Ubuntu package. 2 or more packages specified. What if I just do this? Can't find it. What if I just do this? Doesn't like it. Packages. And what if I just search for What if you go apt get install Linux tools? Apt might figure out what version you need. All right, we can try that. Get install Linux-tools. So apparently Linux tools is already the newest version. And I don't know how I can show which one that is, but it's definitely not the right one because we're not connecting properly. I've got like other versions of perf installed, but it's not the right one for this kernel. And I know that if I run these, things go wrong. Things go horribly wrong because, you know, perf and the kernel kind of go hand in hand. So Linux tools, and then what was it again? Yeah, this is what I wanted. 32076. No results. Or install the common version. So the common version, that's interesting. Apt cache, search, Linux tools. There's one that's called Linux tools common. And I think that one is installed. Apt get install Linux tools common. I'm pretty sure that is installed already. Yeah. Unfortunately. And if I just do Linux tools, I believe that's also already installed. So I've like, this is a little bit of trod ground. Like I've been banging my head against this, and I've not had much luck. But do keep the requests coming, keep the ideas coming, because I need all the help I can get. So did Ubuntu, like the canonical people, get rid of all of the precise packages? Is that something, like I don't see precise listed here. Precise is pretty old. It's back in 2012, I think. Ubuntu precise. It was long term. It's end of life last year. What's the possibility of upgrading the kernel? That's an interesting idea. That's coming at us from Jay Lim. It's quite possible. I might have to upgrade the kernel. I'm trying to avoid doing that though because I can't reproduce this on any of my local machines. I'm worried. Like I want to try and change as few things as possible in the environment where I'm able to like get the regression. So I might have. It's possible that I just can't get perf working on this machine. That is possible with this version of the kernel. But I want to exhaust all possibilities before I attempt to upgrade the kernel or the operating system or anything like that, because I might lose the state that allows me to experience the regression. Jens10 says he thinks I'm not the only user. Thankfully, I am the only user, so I might be able to reboot this machine. It's not like this is a machine where like it's been taken out of the Talos testing pool and it's been more or less given to me. I've been given the keys, thankfully. The problem is not like it's basically what I described. I'm just trying to change as little as possible. Let us dig in further. Timeout error. Ubuntu precise updates. And which exact version of Ubuntu is this? I think I can do this with like LSB. It's 12.04, and it doesn't really give me like a micro version or whatever. So let's assume it's this one. I never understood how to navigate Launchpad. I used to be like fully on board the Ubuntu train. These days, I'm very out of touch. No dice. Did you do an apt-get update beforehand? Good question. That's a great question. That's a great idea. Maybe that's all I needed to do. Let's find out. Okay. Hopefully that's not something that I need to worry about. Let's take a look now. Linux tools. I still don't see it. But that was a great idea. Oh, notice I'm talking to like the internal stuff. I wonder if I should point it at the, instead of pointing it like at our internal package repo, because I can completely mess with this machine. I might be able to. Where does it go? Like, where are the sources? Managed by Puppet. Come on. This is managed by Puppet, but maybe I could point this at the standard update endpoint. Except that I don't believe Canonical still publishes updates. This is end of life. No, I'd rather just pull it down manually if I can, without having to go through apt. Like, I'll just use dpkg or whatever. Oh man, yeah, everything is like has gone away. This is 404ing pretty hard. All right, well, what does it take to build perf? Let's find out. How to build perf on Ubuntu. First, download the kernel. Untar and navigate to the tools perf directory. So it's in the kernel repo. And then hopefully I don't have to like or recompile your own kernel. I'd rather not. You need only kernel sources to build perf. Okay. Let's see here. Ubuntu kernel sources. I don't remember how to do this. Apt-get source, and then this, right? Right? Apt-get source, and then this magical bash thing. Let's do that. Oh, come on. You must put some source URIs in your sources list. Maybe I can just find out exactly the version. Why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? I need to find out which version of the kernel they built Precise with. This version of Precise. And this version of Precise, as we saw, is 12.04. No minor. Ubuntu Precise 12.04 kernel source. Oh, I know exactly the version. I need 30, what is it? I've been trying to find it. It's number, what's its face? UNAME. I need that version of the kernel. 32076 generic. 32076. And these are the only ones that are available. 76111. Debug. Why is this so hard to read? Just, what are you? It's not exact. Like, these don't look like what I want. Are these mapping to this? No, I don't think they map to one another because this list runs out. Okay. 32076, and then for some reason there are 3 copies. They all link to the exact same thing. Great. Apparently this is another place I can go to. Great. Let's see what's in here. Where am I? Jeez. P for precise? That's a guess. I guess not. P for perf. Linux tools. What even? Where am I? Yeah, I don't think this is where I find like precise. I might be able to find Linux tools. Linux kernel. Linux tools. Oh, SmurfD says, no, it's for each package. Okay. So is Linux tools in here? No. Then, well, what do I want? Is it like if I look for perf, will it be in here? I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be part of the. Maybe it's as easy as ask Ubuntu. The Stack Overflow of Ubuntu. To get the latest version of perf, irrespective of the kernel version, perf version is independent of the kernel version. Oh. Maybe. Maybe it is this easy. Let's find out. All right. Let's open up a kernel. Let's find out. Just cloning the kernel. Don't worry about me. This might take 5 ever. Oh, but we're downloading pretty fast. The kernel is large. It is old. So I'm not sure if people in the chat are just like messing with me, or if they're like, at least some of them are trying to help me. But apparently, I look into K for kernel. Is there a kernel in here? Yeah. They are helping me. This is great. Kernel, and then what were we looking for? So while that clones in the background, we were looking for, remind me again, 32076. 3.2. No, it's not in here unless it's a different version. Like the numbers don't match up. What? Why? Why is this so hard? Yeah, so Near94 says, I've just checked on my Ubuntu 1804. Installing Linux tools and perf seems to be working. I am so jealous. I'm so happy for you that it is working. Unfortunately, I'm in a slightly different situation. I wish I had 1804. I'm on like a really old version of Ubuntu here. And I'm not pointed, I'm like at a frozen version of Ubuntu where like all the updates are being pointed to like Mozilla Puppet stuff. And so I'm trying to like, well, let's just see what happens. Let's keep looking around while I clone the Linux source. So perf's not in here. And where else was I was looking in here. What's in here? Is there anything about Linux tools? Yeah, and this is, I think, is going to take me to like a 404, right? Yeah, no summary, no description, not published. And if I go to code, is there code for it? Or blueprints, whatever those are? This is just the code for Ubuntu, which isn't super handy. So it wasn't published. Not helpful. So far, cloning the Linux source and maybe building from it. I've just checked my Ubuntu 18.04 install Linux tools and perfs seems to be working, but there was a package version of Linux tools that matched the kernel version. For 18.04? I'm talking a near 94. For 18.04 or for 12.04, which is what I've got running over here. For the people who might not be able to see the chat, I'll just bring the chat over so you can see all the traffic. If you try to browse that Puppet address, do you see if you can find a deb file somewhere? Good question. Let's see. Where was it? Sources. Nope, not there. Sources list. And then it was like precise.list. So the question was, if I go here, what's here? Let's find out. I'm not even sure if my machine can access this. Oh my goodness. Let's use Lynx. Oh, come on. Apt. No command apt found. Apt get install Lynx. Sure. Lynx. What's there? Okay. What do we have here? Pool. Main. And then I guess I'm going to look for what? Like Linux? Linux. Oh, where do you go? Linux. No. Tools. Nope. So we're gonna go back. How do we go back? Left. K was another one. We could go to kernel. Meanwhile, at the ranch, still resolving deltas on our clone of the Linux source. Kernel. Oops. Oh, come on. Nope, it's not in here. What am I supposed to find in here? What? I'm going to start sobbing soon. Maybe you can try to upgrade the kernel on your VPS so it matches the Linux tools version in the repo. Upgrade the kernel on your VPS so it matches. Again, I want to avoid changing the kernel if I can, because I want to make sure that I change as little as possible because I'm trying to reproduce an issue. Is 12.04 even maintained these days? No, it was end of life a year ago. So why is this machine running it? No idea. But hey, look, we've got the Linux kernel. So let's see here. Can I just make this? So I'm in the perf directory. What happens if I just say make? Explosion. Kernel ABI at such and such from latest version at such and such. Flex is missing on this system. Okay. Let's install Flex. Whatever that is. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Man, this reminds me of being a Linux user back in the day. Bison is missing on the system. Apt-get install Bison. What even is that? Warning, the kernel ABI header differs. That worries me. That worries me. I got a feeling that I have to build the right version for this kernel. I can't just build some random version of perf. Okay, so I've got like a version of perf now. What version of Lynx tools was it that you wanted? Oh yeah, Lexer and Parser, that's what Bison is. Yeah. It's like Yak and Lex. Yak, it's a joke. That's what it is. Yak, Bison, got it. So the question is, which version of the kernel did I want? I wanted that one, 3.20.76 generic. Linux, that's the version of Linux tools I wanted. So I think I just made a Linux, I just made a perf, and what happens when I run it? So I get an executable. Can I record like stuff? Maybe I need to run it as root. Is that true? Or maybe I can like, here, let's try a thing. Let's run perf, and we're gonna record Firefox. There's a version of Firefox on this machine. We're gonna run it. I'm gonna use VNC to connect to the Talus machine. What is it? There we go. Here's the desktop. So now, let's see what happens when I do this. I got a maybe from something. Maybe? That's 3.20.67. Not quite. I need 76. Is 76 somewhere in there? In that same directory? We can take a look. Okay, now I'm going to shut down this. And so apparently I captured some data. That's very interesting. Now what happens if I examine that data? Perf report. Hey, did this work? Failed to open such and such, continuing without symbols. Well, without symbols doesn't super help me. But maybe it's because I don't have the Firefox symbols installed on this machine. Failed to open perf map. Why couldn't you open that? No such file. Let's see what happens if I install the Firefox symbols. I want to see if perf is actually working here. Apt-get install Firefox dev. Is that right? That'll give me the symbols. Apt cache search Firefox. Debug symbols. I want actually DBG. That's what I wanted. Sorry, DBG, not DGB. Get those symbols. Let's see what the internet's saying. Apparently 3.20.76 is not in there. Shoot. Like what it was in here. Like we're on to something here, maybe. Like now that I've got the symbols installed, can I like run perf again and then quit? And now nope, still no symbols. Well, those are libc, but in libzool I would have expected to see some symbols. Here's an interesting thing. If I run like an older version of perf, because I've got like all these different versions. If I run like perf 32038, and then I say record Firefox on display 0. And I quit. Then I go perf report. Or maybe it was perf report. I thought I had symbols working at one point. Yeah, I had symbols working here. So this one kind of works. The problem is that it seems like if I try and use this one to measure in the Talos test, the machine locks up. But maybe I'll be okay. Like maybe, here's a thing we could try. It appears as if maybe using one of these older perfs will work. That is strange to me because I thought it was so dependent upon the kernel version, but we seem to have a situation here where running an older version of perf seems to maybe be kind of okay. Weird, says Jens10. I agree. This is very like, I don't trust it. However, these symbols kind of make sense. Let's do a test. Let's record Firefox doing something where I will understand what it's doing in the symbols. Like, is there like a website that does like ray tracing or something? Tracer and a JS example. Like just a demo ray tracer. Web worker support. Okay, let's see if this works inside the Firefox here. It's a pretty old version of Firefox. Can't get to it because of HTTPS. Great. Ray tracer. Maybe this one will do. Can I get to you from straight up HTTP? I sure can. Okay, so let's try this again. And the reason I'm trying to use a ray tracer, I'm trying to like go really JavaScript heavy. Play. Stop. Okay, let's look at the report. Kernel symbols can't be resolved. So we GC'd a lot. Yeah, a lot of like, what is this? Perf. Well, I don't know what I was looking at there. A lot of time was spent inside this map or something, but also a lot of time was spent inside finalizing a JS object, which makes sense, and GCing. The fact that I can't get kernel symbols kind of blows, but I can get libc, some of libc. libpthread, which is nice. Maybe this is enough. So here, I've got a plan. Let's see what happens. And I've got like, do I have like GTK, libgdk? Good. Good. Okay, so here's my plan. Let's assume for a second. Oh, weird. No GitHub all work. Well, why does it work? HTTP. Let's try and run this scenario, like run the regression, and I'll do system-wide profiling. I think I can do that as if I'm root. So like, if I run perf 32038 record system-wide perf 320-38. Can I do system-wide recording? Like, or like perf record processes with name by name. Record events and existing thread IDs, no. Collect data, no. Collect data without, no. No. I want to like, can perf record sample child processes? Perf record without A option records all processes. Target process of starting record. Perf record with perf record. Already running PID. It will profile target process and all child processes after attaching. So what I could do is I could make it so before the CP startup test runs, we have it. Jens wonders, I wonder how it's possible for you to remain silent. I would start to freak out, especially while streaming live. Oh, I'm freaking out. Mamma mia. But my like solution is to just play sounds.
Oh yeah. I can't do my work. What happened?
So here's my plan. Let me write it down. None of this makes sense, but let's do this. This ended up going nowhere. Stylo doesn't appear to be involved. That's just an old note that I'm updating. Okay, so using perf, let's use an old version of perf that seems to work on the Ubuntu Talos loaner, and then modify the CP startup test to pause and dump the parent process ID for 20 seconds before starting the test. That way I can connect perf to the parent process ID and start sampling it. Okay, that's what we'll do. So what I need now is a quick and dirty build. And I think I have one on beast mode. Whoops. Beast mode's my other Linux VM. We'll try not to get confused between the two. Yeah, that's the back out. Right. Oh, you can't see what I'm typing, sorry. Let me bring the bottom of my screen up. Pump up the font a little. Okay, so no differences. I need to change the CP startup test. No. Tests, CP startup. Yeah, bootstrap. What we'll do is, when does it go? Here, it will do CP startup go. Knit. So what I'll do is have like a first go false. This is really sloppy. If this dot first go, or first go will be true. If this first go, then we're going to we're going to do this. I want to await. Otherwise, we'll do it right away. So this is quick and dirty. Quick and dirty. We'll do set timeout. And we'll do the exact same thing, but we'll do it after, I'll say 10 seconds. Do the exact same thing. And set timeout's not normally available to us in this bootstrap scope. And I'll set this dot first go equals false, so we don't do it next time. And I'll import that'll give us set timeout here. So let's see what happens now if I try and run mock Talos test CP startup. It should wait. Oh, there's one last thing I wanted to do. I want it to, oops. Print out the process ID, the parent process ID. Services to app info process ID, I think. Something like that. Let's see what happens. What? Config status not available. Run configure. First of all, let's commit this instrument CP startup to run after 10 seconds and dump process ID. All right, let's build. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Oh, build with default. Yeah. So let's see how long this takes. Hopefully not too long. I've got my this is the Ubuntu machine's part of the distributed build environment, so hopefully this will only take a couple of minutes. And if so, we can, or maybe it'll be really fast. I mean, depending. There's nothing to build, although for some reason it said I needed some configure stuff, so maybe I need to build. And it's doing an export. Okay, this is going to take a couple minutes, I think. My guess is roughly about 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. So let's pause for a second. what can we do now while we're waiting? Well, there was another thing I wanted to look at. It's that double paint that we were looking at last week, or when we're like rendering tabs, we're warming them or something, or if we switch to them, then we do 2 consecutive paints because we unsuppress the DisplayPort suppression. So the reason we do DisplayPort suppression is so that during the warming or initial tab switch phase, we only paint the content area, and then immediately we have been like queuing up a paint to occur that paints more above and below so that we don't checkerboard as much. And I know that Doug Thayer recently landed some stuff that we might want to make use of. So let's take a look at Doug Thayer's patches, because I want to see if there's something in here we can make use of from the LRU stuff. Yeah, he updated the patches here. So what he did was force a paint when switching to a loaded tab. So what he did was he added a force repaint in the parent that occurs whenever we're switching to a tab. And he calls it right here. So might not actually need to differentiate. So one thing we might want to do in here so these are my notes I was taking while I was trying to get rid of unsuppression. I can't do that because I checkerboard too much. So here's what I'm thinking we can do instead. Make suppression per pres shell rather than global. That's something that's being tracked over here. Suppress, yeah, right here. And then the other thing we can do is always suppress tabs unless they're selected. The doc shell is active. Is that a good idea? Should probably determine if this is a good idea or not. The idea being that you don't really need to paint outside of the display port unless you are the foreground tab. That's the idea. How's our build doing on Ubuntu? Still going. We're at the 4 and a bit minutes, coming up on 5 minutes soon. Hopefully this will be done really shortly. Normally this doesn't take too long with the build infrastructure we've got. In fact, we could maybe even take a quick peek if we don't have VNC server running. Huh. Never mind. VNC. I need to stop. How do you stop a VNC server? Dash kill. Dash kill VNC server. Dash kill 2. Yeah. Okay. Well, never mind. For some reason I can't connect to VNC server 1. Connection's being refused. Don't know why that is. What if I kill that? Sorry, what? Burp. All right, well, what if I just use 2? Duplicate. Properties. 2. 2. There we go. There was there's an application called, what was it? Ice cream cluster viewer. Icemon, that's what it's called. Okay, Icemon. So yeah, you can see here bunch of jobs being scheduled out to other machines. So hopefully that'll be done soon. All right, well, let me continue to write my ideas down here. So always suppress display port for tabs unless the doc shell is active. Should probably determine if this is a good idea or not. When would this be a bad idea? Maybe there are add-ons that want to be able to get a preview of the entire area, the entire page as a screenshot sent to the parent. What's a display port? Asks MCEIER. So that's this thing. So the viewing area, think of it as a window that you're looking through. You can't see my hands, but like if I could draw a rectangle, this would be the top left where my mouse is, and this is the bottom right. It's basically the viewing area of the browser. And the MCIER is Marius. Hello, Marius. So as I scroll, it's like looking through a window, and things are moving up and down within that window, that display port. And what we do as an optimization when we switch tabs is we suppress all painting to only occur within the display port. And the reason we don't normally do that is because we want to make sure that when you scroll, the pixels are ready to go. Here, let me show you something kind of neat. We have this thing called the APZ minimap. And if you enable it, you can kind of see here what we paint. Everything in the green box is painted, and that's actually everything. This entire page is painted. That means I can scroll. The content process could be completely hosed. I can lock up this content process by doing like a while true. Now it's different because I've changed the size of the window. If I close DevTools, what happens? It winds up. Oh, it gets big again. So let me open up DevTools in a separate window, and you can see what I mean. So we're a whole window here. I'm going to lock up the content process by just running a busy loop, and I can still view the whole window. The whole thing's been painted. I can still scroll back and forth even though the entire page is unresponsive. So let's kill that script, and we'll put you back, dock you to the bottom. But sometimes we paint not everything. So let's go to this bug, for example, or let's go to a really long page. Let's go to this Ubuntu page, where see that little area in the bottom is not painted until we like approach it, and then like we start painting outside. And the reason for that is because we never want a checkerboard. And by checkerboard, I mean like display an area that hasn't yet been painted. And I can try and show you a demonstration. Let's go to the HTML spec. Really long document. Super long document. And if I scroll really, really fast or drag to the bottom, like I'm checkerboarding. And by checkerboarding means like there's a blank area because it's not been painted yet. We scrolled outside of the region that we paint. Whoop, checkerboard, checkerboard, checkerboard. Ideally, it's just continuous like this, but if you scroll outside of the painted region, we checkerboard. So that's maybe useful. Like here's maybe another example. Can I like scroll outside the painted region here on this page? Definitely. See how it blanked out there? It blinks. It's because I'm going outside of the painted region and a checkerboard. And we want to avoid that. See, if I keep within the green, everything's continuous and nice. Then if I go outside, we checkerboard. Checkerboard, checkerboard. So notice, however, that when we switch tabs, I guess because we have suppression on, maybe this is not a great example. Are we still suppressing? Presumably we suppress still. Let me profile here. And I can turn off the minimap now. Yeah, two paints, one right here and one right here. But I guess they happen fast enough that the minimap doesn't notice. Oh, our build's done. Great. Okay, so let's. I'm going to switch tack for a second here. We're going to run our CP startup test, but on display 2. What? I guess I will get rid of the Talos venv. So we'll regenerate the venv. So apparently there are a couple of people from Poland in the IRC chat room. Hello, I love your country. I've been to Poland twice, 3 times. You've got great food. The dairy in Poland, unbelievable. The ice cream, divine. I had some ice cream in Poland and was blown away. I think that might just be Europe in general. For some reason, in North America, we don't have very good dairy. No such file or directory or subprocess. What are you talking about? Why is everything broken today? What are you talking about? CP startup. No such file or directory. Is it because I built it wrong? Like, is it a... Develop beast mode. CP startup. Let's quickly test to see what happens if I undo my changes by going back a version. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, and we'll build faster. And now can you CP startup? No, still doesn't like it. Why? There's already a Firefox running. I wonder what happens if I disable all the Firefoxes. No, 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 don't. Ah. Kill 3. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, so all the Firefoxes are stopped. How do you make any progress? Did I make any progress? A little bit, not much. Not much. Trying to figure out why I can't even run this silly test. Test start, CP startup. And it's like, nope, can't run the sub process. And why not? No such file directory. Oh, did I do a thing where, like, I may have done a thing. Hold on a second. Testing, tell us. Out. No, was it utils? Yeah, I did this thing. So that's the problem. I accidentally did that. Should not have done that. That was the problem. So that was a fragment from an older revision where I was like attempting to run perf from within the testing framework. So now I should be able to run perf. Or now I should be able to run the CP startup test. And I'm hoping, yeah, so the first thing it'll do is it'll print the parent process ID. Great. I can even use this as an opportunity to test. Perf, apt, install Linux tools, common. Like let's do a dress rehearsal. Let's do a dress rehearsal. So this is under my desktop Ubuntu VM, which totally can install perf, no problem. Oh, don't do this to me. Yeah. Okay, so there is a way to perf record everything. Perf record everything with a process ID. Perf record process ID. Process ID. Yeah. Perf record -p PID. I think. P record sample period. I need the underscore or the lowercase p record, yeah, process ID, comma separated list. Great. Okay, so if I do perf record -p and then I'm gonna run CP startup again and then use the, this is a dress rehearsal. This isn't on the machine that like can do the work. Or 95169, 95169. And now we run our test. And then this says a bunch of abort. It's just aborting. Great. Why did you abort? Invalid next size. Captured error in perf. Free. Invalid next size. Normal. Urgh. What if I run fewer iterations of the CP startup test? Testing, talos, test up high. So let's just run it. Instead of 20 times, let's run it 5 times. 97244. Resolve super fast. It won't be resolved. And yeah, it still dumps. All right, well that's with the dress rehearsal machine. Let's see what happens on the real machine. Someone on Stack Overflow. Okay, hold on a second. There's some traffic in the live hacking channel. Someone on Stack Overflow said can only attach to new processes, didn't it? No, that's not necessarily the case. You can attach to pre-existing processes, and then unless you pass the -a flag, it will also attach to any processes that one attached process spawns. So that's what I want. But he's starting perf after the new process has been created. Perf can spawn the process by itself. Okay, I don't know perf. But will it record other processes? Yes, I believe so. My understanding was perf record sub process. Here, according to Stack Overflow, if you don't pass the -a option, it will record all processes forked from the target process after starting of record. You can also use record-p when attached to an already running program. It will profile the target process and all child processes started after attaching, which, assuming that this is correct, that's exactly what I want. By default, perf stack counts for all threads of the process, subsequent child process, and threads. We also using the -i option. It is not possible to obtain a count breakdown per thread or per process. That sucks. I definitely want it broken down per thread and per process. This might be a fool. This might be a. So the other thing we can do is you can also like run the test using Moz debug child process equals 1, and that will cause the child process to halt until you attach a debugger. In this case, which I don't necessarily want to do for the first couple, but I have to do it because it doesn't discriminate between different child processes, and like I only want after the test begins, but whatever. I do sudo perf record. One zero one one four two. That. How's that going? Is that even attached? Okay, 1011777 is actually what I want. Oh shoot. That's not what I wanted. Ah. Oh boy. So that looked like it was actually working. Ooh. And I got kernel symbols there. That's handy. Okay, good to know. Good to know. If I write it with sudo, I get kernel symbols. That's good. Good, 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 good. Okay. I actually learned something there. So actually, that's a thing we could try right now on our machine over here. Is suppose I run the test in the bad case. So this one. The bad one here. And I don't profile, but I do use, what just happened? I used F14, I didn't mean to. There. Home is what I want. I do moz debug child process equals 1. What if I just run perf on that one child process? This is going to be a pain in the butt because the first couple of content processes are going to be not the ones I want to attach to, and we just have to kind of ignore them. But what if I, over here, I get ready to run, so I'm going to run as root, and I go perf 32038 record, then attach to a particular process ID. I'm just flailing around, people. I hope this has been entertaining. I feel like I'm kind of making forward progress. Let's see what happens. You gotta get the test to run. So just give me a second here for the test to get all warmed up and running on the. Running it on the test machine here is a little bit different because I don't have mock. Okay, starting the process. CP startup. I probably want to like shut one of these down, don't I? Is it not giving me the name of the content process? Yeah, here, this is what I want. Sort of, not quite yet, but that's the idea. So I'm gonna wait for this one to resume. Because I think child, like all of this is just gonna wait for 30 seconds or so. It waits for a number of seconds for me to attach my child process, or my debugger for pause time. Pause time. Ooh, I can change the pause time. That's handy. And what's happening here? It's already started to run one. Did I miss it? I think I missed it. Yeah, I should have connected to that first one. 17, or not that one. But 16488. Okay, I should connect to this one. 17400. 17400. Okay, recording. Okay, so that should be done now. Let's stop recording. So now if I replay, if I look at the report, interesting, but I kind of have symbols. Unknown. I don't even know what you are. Web content unknown. G-slice alloc. Content LD. Flush all page. I do page fault. Interesting. Prep new page. I don't know what I'm reading here, but like, that's very interesting. So I've got perf.data here. I'm going to call that perf.data, perf.bad.data, because that's in the bad scenario where we've got like the content process that was starting up slowly. So now we're going to do that same experiment, but this time we're going to use the empty binding, which is the good case. Moz debug child process 1. So again, this is going to take a couple minutes. I think it's worth the time. Let me just double check my clock, make sure I don't have like a meeting to run off to, but I think this is worth checking out. Because we're actually getting data here. I don't know if it's useful data. Might not be. But it's something. I'm actually, so for the people who are following along, this is on the real machine right now. I'm running. Hopefully we'll record something useful. And I don't have a meeting to run off to, thankfully. Okay, so this is all going. All this business. Okay. So it's starting. This is the good recording that we're going to do. So I'm going to queue up recording. Some QA while waiting. What is the name of the IRC client? So I'm using an IRC client called LimeChat. It's okay. It's not bad. By default, the CSS. I think you can use CSS to style it, and I'm not using the built-in CSS. I copied one over from. Oh, come on! What's the problem here? Failure. So yeah, it's called LimeChat, and it's pretty good. Unexpected error. Cannot find report in browser output. Oh, I think this happens if like there's a, if there's like a pre-existing browser running, which is happening. We have to stop all of the Firefoxes. Sorry, folks. Got to try that again. Yeah, send me more Q&A. Let's answer more questions. So that's LimeChat, and it's pretty good. Let's check it out. LimeChat. I'm using version 2.4.1. It's pretty old. Probably got a bunch of security problems. Please don't own me. But yeah, LimeChat, it's pretty good. Other questions? That was a great question. Do you plan to do Firefox on Wayland streams? No, that's not currently on my roadmap. I think someone is working on supporting Wayland. I know, I think. But it's not me, unfortunately. I'm not even like Wayland is like the new display manager or something. Like there was Mir, there's Wayland, there's it's like the replacement for X, right? Because yeah, X has its problems for sure. But I've not worked with Wayland, and I probably wouldn't be the right person to work on Wayland bugs. But there are people who do people who work for Red Hat who hack on Firefox who will probably be like doing yeah, it's a new protocol, replacement for X. Good. Yes, replace X. So we're running CP startup here. Apparently it's a long way from being stable. Well, story of my life. So it's initializing. Just going to give it a couple minutes here to initialize. Any other questions? Keep them coming. So do web render? Is the question there. So do web render, or maybe that's a suggestion. So just do web render. Yeah, it could. I mean, I've toyed around with Rust. I'm not exactly a Rust aficionado. I've tinkered with it. I hack on it periodically. I have done like little things here and there. But we have an entire graphics team who are working on web render right now, and I would probably just slow them down if I tried to dive in and throw elbows. I mean, like I have a bunch of my own work to do. Web render has a bunch of people hacking on it, so thankfully, it's a pretty cool project for sure. So what's going on here? Just getting started. I need to... Oh, is this the one I'm supposed to be attaching to? Probably. Oh, no, this is the one. This is the one I want to attach to. Yes. Record. That. And then wait until it gets to cycle 2. Okay. And then stop. All right. So I think we can shut down the Firefox now. So now we have both a good and a bad. So I'm going to move perf.data to perf.good.data. And now if I do perf 32038 report, and then I think I can pass it the name of a file, input-i, perf.good.data, and then over here I'll do the bad one. Where is it though? Don't tell me it's in like the kernel source. Where am I? Yeah, I'm in the perf directory, like Lynx. Ah, jeez. Kernel Linux source perf. What was it? Linux tools perf. So this one I'll do, yeah, perf 3.2.038 report, and then it's perf.bad.data. And this one I'll do perf.good.data. All right, so here's good, here's bad. Here's good, here's bad. Good, bad. Good, bad. What's that? That doesn't show up in bad. Good, bad. NVIDIA, NV Flush Cache. Good. Bad. Why would we envy flush cache? That's interesting. Could this be graphics related? Good. Bad. Page fault here, but we page fault here. Good. Bad. Good. Mutex. Looking for a pattern. Good luck debugging NVIDIA driver. Bad. Good. Bad. Could that be a one-off, or is this the part of the problem here? Good. What does it mean that these are green and these are white? Let's find out. Perf report green. What does green mean? Green percentage. I don't know what the green means. Let's assume unknown. Good. We spend more of it inside unknown, and we don't know what unknown is. Good. Bad. Good. Bad. Good. Bad. libc at 147602. Perf map. Clear page. We create a new G object here. Hash table lookups and mutex locks and libglib. That, in a way, this reminds me of the profiles we were looking at from the Gecko profile, where it just looked like we were talking to glib, and things were just slower for some reason. It was just taking longer. What is this? What is ld215.so? Remind me again. I think I've seen this before, but 2.15.so. What is that? That is not a web address. Is it Lynx? It's just like some it's binary interface thing. ld.so. Okay, dynamic link library support. Handle dynamic libraries. Dynamic libraries. Do we... It's like long tail. I don't see us... Oh, here's like an NVIDIA thing. Clear page. Good. We reallocate. Kate. I wonder if there's a way we can just, maybe it is page faulting. We're doing more page faulting, except that I see page faulting up here. But it's in percentage. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Maybe try to install kernel and glibc debug symbols. Yeah, maybe. That might help. To know what these things are. Yeah, because what... Let's see. 1, 3, 4... Maybe. Maybe. That's not a bad idea. Alright, I will do that next. But I'm not going to do that live. I'm going to cap the stream here. Hey, this was interesting. I think we actually got some results. I did not expect us to get results. I mean, we didn't end up building perf. We used a pre-existing one. I didn't expect that to work at all. But we got somewhere. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching episode 140 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. Where am I? So just a reminder, there is no episode next week. I will be traveling. I will miss you, and I will see you the week after. And for all of you people out there dealing with Linux on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis, I feel your pain. It is a very interesting world, and it's painful. I had some pain there, and I sympathize. But we're gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out. Just gotta get some symbols and do this experiment again. All right. Well, anyways, take care. I'll see you not next week, but the week after with episode 141. All the best. Stay safe. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. The joy of coding. See ya.